Now we're going to create a virtual service from a specification. In this case, we have a WSDL or Web Services Description Language file to create a SOAP or Single Object Access Protocol service. And what it'll do is perform a search to give us information about a person. We're going to bring up our dev test portal and tell it we want to create a virtual service by specification. We give the service a name and a description, and then we'll select the WSDL file and click Next. The portal will then display all the operations in that WSDL. Here we can select the operations we want to include or exclude. In this case, there's only one operation, so we'll click Finish. And then for that operation, it shows us the input, the request, and the response. It lets us know that the request data protocol is SOAP. We click Next, and because it's SOAP, there's no configuration necessary. One thing we're going to do is change the suggested port number to a specific one because we already have tests created for that port number. And now we're going to click the Save and Deploy Virtual Service button. We can now go to Virtual Services on the left and then Monitor Virtual Services and see if the virtual service has in fact been deployed. We see that it has, so now we can go to Dev Test Workstation and we can run a test against that virtual service by clicking Web Service. We're going to do a lookup of a specific person into that virtual service. What we get back is syntactically correct, some alphanumerics, but perhaps we'd like to see some real data in that virtual service. What we're going to do here is add data from a spreadsheet. Now, the spreadsheet has the column headers as its first row: first name, last name, SSN, city, state. And then each row after that has information that is comma delimited. So to put that spreadsheet into the virtual service, go back to Manage Virtual Services in the portal, and we tell it by clicking the pencil icon in the Actions column that we want to edit the virtual service called WSDL. This takes us to the Transactions tab, with the view set to Stateless Transactions and the Specifics tab selected. Now we're going to click the Signature Definition tab and turn on what we call Data-Driven Behavior. In other words, it'll get information from a spreadsheet. We'll select our spreadsheet from the From Existing list and click Save. And then what we have to do is tell the virtual service server what columns to use for lookup. Click the pencil icon for each and select the respective columns. In this case, it'll be the columns labeled First Name, Last Name, and SSN. Rather than just getting a random alphanumeric passed back, we'd like to have something a little more specific. So what we're going to do here is copy this text file and replace all the lines with this. So inside the curly brackets, first name, last name, SSN, and so on, are all words that are going to be displayed when the virtual service comes back with a result. So now we're going to save that. And after it's been saved, we're going to click Deploy. Now the deploy operation will merge this spreadsheet into the virtual service and then deploy them together so they can be accessed. We go back to our monitoring and we can see that this is now our newly deployed virtual service. With that, I can go back to Dev Test Workstation, and if I execute the same lookup again, this time I'm going to get some useful results. In fact, I can look through a file to retrieve all the entries from that virtual service. The execution history records each retrieval. So, this is how you can create a virtual service from a specification and then load data into that virtual service from a spreadsheet. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for viewing it. And this concludes creating virtual services from WSDL.